What's going on, y'all? So the topic today is going to be Virginia Giuffre. Now, if you don't know who she is, we're about to get into some of her background and the stories that we're going to be showing you. But she's basically one of the victims of Epstein, and she's been very outspoken in the media. She said that she was trafficked to Prince Andrew. He's a prince over in England.
Oh boy, oh boy.
So this story is getting wild. She actually just lost her life recently. I would say, like a week ago now?
Yep, it's been about a week.
Yeah, so this story is really crazy, man. It seems like stuff's really hitting the fan. And yeah,
How is one of the most prominent witnesses of the Jeffrey Epstein case now no longer alive?
It's wild.
Crazy.
Wild, okay?
Nothing suspicious about that.
Coincidence? I think not.
Definitely not. So, yeah, let's get into this first.
What's the prince name?
Prince Andrew.
He's still alive?
Yeah,
He's still
alive.
free?
Still
He's
free.
They did an interview with him and all of that on what was it, 60 Minutes or something?
Yeah, it's looking like his
suspicious
family
about
is
that.
allegedly closing the door on him too. They're
Yeah.
trying to make it look like, they're disowning him.
You want to know what's crazy too is when they did the interview, it was so weird, man. Because he said that it couldn't have been him that was with them that night because she talked about him sweating, I think, profusely, and then he came out and said he has a condition where he doesn't sweat. Just it was so ridiculous. The interview's so
That boy
ridiculous.
in the heat in Arizona.
What do you
Yeah.
what do you call that right there?
Right.
17-year-old
What do
Virginia
you got to say
Giuffre.
about this photo?
17-year-old Virginia Giuffre with Prince Andrew,
And Ghislaine Maxwell.
knowing Africa, Ghislaine Maxwell for Jeffrey Epstein in the same picture.
Right.
Family wilding out here.
So they would like this story just to go away, but we ain't gonna let it die down and go away. We need justice for Virginia Giuffre and the rest of the victims.
Absolutely.
So
Did they say who the suspects were?
that's the thing. The suspects are the people who's on that list. That's the suspects. The suspects are including, allegedly Prince Andrew. That's what
Right.
she was saying.
Are the news saying that he's a suspect?
No, the news. I think the mainstream media believes
They're
every word
calling
that
it
came out
a
of his mouth.
conspiracy.
Right.
And
So they're saying she took herself out.
Yeah.
They're saying they took
They're-
herself
they're-
out.
Right.
It's
So-
always that, isn't it? Just like with Isaac Cappy.
Just like with the man himself, Epstein himself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's always them taking themselves out, huh?
But all of the sudden, the cameras in the detention center of the night that he allegedly unalived himself weren't working and cut off, and the correctional officer went to sleep the night he unalived himself.
Just
And people
wild.
just believe this nonsense.
And the cameras in the facility went down that night.
It's always about them taking their own lives, too. So nobody will, look into if somebody did it.
Yeah, his brother, there was a documentary his brother was on. I think Tucker Carlson actually sat down with Epstein's brother.
Right.
And they were going over how there was a autopsy done. One of the doctors came in, like a separate doctor.
Neck was broken in three places.
It was broken in places where it couldn't have been that he took his own self out.
Right.
Right. So there's a
All
lot.
all them videotapes he had up in that house.
Right.
those
Where did
secret
all that stuff
cameras,
go?
Right.
All them rich people.
Where's the black
For the
book?
black-
He didn't
blackmail.
take himself out. Why would Jeffrey take himself out?
Right.
It was because
Somebody went
what
up in
Jeffrey Epstein was involved in and who he was involved with, why they needed to silence him.
And we seen, the photos of him and Clinton together, Bill Clinton together, ex-president Bill Clinton. We know that Ghislaine was at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. There's photos of it. We know that Epstein visited Clinton's White House. I think it was 17 times.
Right.
Bill Clinton not only flew on Epstein's plane, but for some of the rides, the Secret Service was left behind. Why would he need to leave the Secret Service behind?
What were they doing and where were they going? Why government detail was left behind from a president of the United States?
And then, I don't know if you guys seen when some reporter went up to Clinton and actually asked him about his relationship to Epstein. And then Bill Clinton basically just gave this evil smirk. Man, it was it was very telling. Let's just say that.
Well, let's talk about the painting that they found in Jeffrey Epstein's house of
Oh,
Bill
that's another
Clinton
thing.
in a blue dress.
Clearly, we know Bill couldn't keep his pants on. That was
Right.
something blown up in the media with Monica Lewinsky.
And by the painting in his home, he couldn't keep a dress off.
Right. Very, very, very strange. Very, very strange. So, all right, let's get into this. Let's get into this first story, man. Like I said, we want to keep this story alive, right? Just because
Justice for the
Virginia,
Epstein victims.
right? And just because Virginia's no longer here with us doesn't mean that we shouldn't keep her story alive, so we can get justice for her and the rest of the victims. And justice means this list coming out and people facing the consequences for their actions.
And share this video. This is very important information because ultimately this could possibly be a government cover-up.
Could be. Right. All right, let's get into this first.
So Virginia Giuffre, who accused Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein of sexual abuse, has died by suicide. Aged 41, her family has said. Miss Giuffre was one of the most outspoken accusers of convicted ex-offenders Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, his former girlfriend. She alleged they trafficked her to the Duke of York when she was 17 years old, which Prince Andrew has strenuously denied.
Of course, yeah, that's what I was saying. So they did an interview with him, and he was talking about, it couldn't possibly been him there that night because he has a condition where he doesn't sweat. Funny enough, and he said it was around that time, around the age that he was, and it was funny because he was actually sweating in the interview, I believe. You see, like
put him on a treadmill.
Did he name what the condition was?
I don't know if he named the condition or not, but it just sounds so ridiculous. It sounded ridiculous. It looked ridiculous coming out of his mouth. He looked ridiculous saying it.
Let's test that truth, Prince. Not Prince Harry, Prince Andrew.
Right.
My bad, Megan. Let's test that theory, Prince Andrew. Bring him on to Arizona around June and July. Let's see if he can sweat.
Like I said, it seemed like he was sweating in the interview, but I think he was trying to say back then he had the condition where he couldn't sweat, so it just went away.
He was miraculously healed, right?
So the condition just went away. He no longer had it, and that's why you could see him sweating in the interview.
Who believes this nonsense?
Just crazy.
Who believes this nonsense?
Somebody look up to see if Big Pharma has a pill that can make you not sweat anymore after having a condition.
Wild, man. Wild. All right. Let's continue.
The statement described the mother of three as the light that lifted so many survivors and said she was passed away Friday at her farm in Western Australia. Western Australian police said they were called to a home in a Nergaby area on Friday night where Miss Giuffre was found unresponsive. A statement continued. The passing away is being investigated by major crime detectives. Earlier indicated that the passing away of Miss Giuffre is not suspicious. Of course they're going to say that. Of course they're going to report on that. Every time a suspicious unaliving of a person who is allegedly unalive themselves, this is always the thing that they go to saying. It's not suspicious.
I think one of the main things that makes it, or a couple of the main things that make it suspicious to me, is the fact that she actually tweeted back in 2019 that she wasn't suicidal,
which we're going to show that post.
And we're going to show that post.
Wow.
And it is,
and not just that, but what was it like? Yeah, bro. She actually tweeted that, and she said there was very powerful people that pretty much wanted to see her gone.
Let's take a look at what Virginia had to say about her relationship with the prince.
Not just that, though, but it was also that her getting hit by the bus like a few weeks before this even took place.
Right.
Dang.
Right. So she
Princess Diana stuff.
Right. Crazy stuff.
Oh, man.
I know why Princess Andrew didn't sweat. He's a reptilian.
Big facts.
Nephilim blood.
Nephilim blood. Okay.
Let's see what Virginia had to say in this video clip of
the
experience with Prince Andrew.
Yeah, let's check that out.
I was so young. Keelan woke me up in the morning and said, "You're going to meet a prince today." I didn't know at that point that I was going to be trafficked to that prince. And then that night, Prince Andrew came to her house in London, and we went out to Club Tramp. Prince Andrew got me alcohol. It was in the VIP section. I'm pretty sure it was vodka. Prince Andrew was like, let's dance together. And I was like, okay. And we leave Club Tramp. And I hop in the car with Ghislaine and Giuffre. And Ghislaine said he's coming back to the house. And I want you to do for him what you do for Epstein. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that even royalty were involved.
Wild.
Ghislaine Maxwell was the groomer for Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
So the way that they were
in jail right now.
The way exactly, she's serving a life sentence right now for trafficking. Right. So the way that I read in documents that they were doing it was she was the groomer and they were basically being brainwashed into the trafficking through Epstein. So they would go through Epstein first, go through the process through him, and then that's when they would transfer the girls out. They would take girls to the island, take girls to, politicians, celebrities, all stuff like that.
There was a bunch of people, man, bunch of celebrities and stuff that were on the flight list that had been put out. Right.
And that just allegedly came out a couple of days ago, too. They put it out again. But we've already seen the flight logs. That has been out for a long time. But there was some real prominent Hollywood celebrities, politicians, doctors, lawyers that were on that
John
flight
Legend
list.
was on there, too. And the funny thing about that is, the tweets his wife put out. Now, a lot of people don't know about the tweet. The tweets are so disturbing. I got, my video banned so many times from putting out or saying some of the things that were in those tweets. She's talking about children. She's talking about
going to jail for pizza.
Jail for pizza. She's talking about children doing splits and watching toddlers in tiaras in a certain type of way and fantasizing about them in a certain type of way.
Disgusting.
Just very disturbing stuff, man. But yeah, this whole thing is just, like I said, we're gonna show these tweets. I think we're gonna show the tweet, or we're gonna go into this next. Let's go into this next. I think it was this one. No, not that one. Here we go. Right here. So let's get into this part of it, and then after this, I believe we're gonna get into the tweet.
So this is the lawyer of Virginia Giuffre, who's been dealing with her for a number of years now, and she's come out publicly stating that it is very suspicious that she all of the sudden unalives herself. A lawyer for Jeffrey Epstein victim, Virginia Giuffre, who unalived herself at her home in Australia, has cast doubt on her unaliving, insisting, quotation marks, "We've got big question marks over it." Carrie Loudon claimed the 41-year-old mother had shown no sign she wanted to harm herself before she was found no longer responsive at her farm in Western Australia last Friday. When I got the phone call, and I quote, "I was like, are you joking?" Because there was no sign that there was something she was considering as far as unaliving herself, the lawyer told The Sun.
Wow, so according to this article, the lawyer doesn't even believe that she would harm herself.
Right. And this is a woman who's been dealing with her through this fight with the Epstein case, who knows the ins and outs of this entire situation, dealing with her directly. So she knows her emotional state. She has a personal connection with her. She's been working with her for quite some time. And this woman is speaking out and saying that there is something fishy about this incident.
Right. And taking her own life without leaving a note or anything like that, just going.
This story is definitely wild for many reasons. So I guess, so look, this was an article that was put out in 2019, and it's from the New York Post. Prince Andrew accuser Virginia Roberts Giuffre suggests too many evil people want to take her out, right? And then you had the tweet down here. You want to read the tweet, bro?
Can you blow it up more?
Yeah, we can blow it a little more. It's probably going to bring some of us out of it.
Okay, go ahead.
So here we go, right here. So let's go ahead and read a little bit of this tweet that she put out back in 2019. She says, I am making it publicly known that in no way, shape, or form am I suicidal. I have made this known to my therapist and GP.
No, hold on. This is somebody who wants to make it known,
right,
that not only does she not want to take her own life, but there are clearly very powerful people that are after this woman.
She's fearing for her life at this point.
She's fearing for her life, and she's making a public statement that she has no intention to unalive herself.
Right.
If somebody had an intention to do that, the post would read very differently.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, so it says, if something happens to me in the sake of my family, do not let this go away and help me to protect them. Too many evil people want to see me quieted. It's just haunting. This is haunting, knowing now what is taking place and how this is unfolded. Right? We had her weeks before this, or maybe a month before this, being hit by a bus.
That's crazy.
Just crazy stuff. And then, out of nowhere, she unalives herself.
Right.
After putting a tweet like that out back in 2019. Now, is there 0% possibility that, she unalived herself after everything she had gone through and the trauma and everything? I wouldn't say it's a 0% chance. But I think it's probably more likely that powerful people were after her, like she said, and they had a reason to, quiet her.
Right.
Take care of her.
Something to do with it for sure.
Well, it isn't just her lawyer that is sounding the alarm on, the suspicions of it being foul play. Her father has sparked calls for further investigation, who is urging authorities to re-examine the circumstances surrounding her passing, according to TMZ reports. So now her own father is asking authorities.
What was I just telling y'all before we started recording? I said, now if somebody in her family starts to say something is suspicious or calls for investigations, then I'm going to really be like, okay,
her own father.
So now TMZ is reporting that her father is calling for further investigations into this.
And there's no coincidence that this is happening at the time that our department, our justice system isn't currently investigating the Epstein files. There's no coincidence that around the time frame that most of these documents are going to be released, that now all of the sudden one of the main witnesses turns up no longer alive anymore.
Right. We have a tweet from our new director of the FBI, Cash Patel. This is, I believe, when he first got hired on as FBI director. This is a tweet that he put out.
The FBI is entering a new era, one that will be defined by integrity, accountability, and the unwavering pursuit of justice. There will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, and no stone left unturned. And anyone from the prior or current bureau who undermines this will be swiftly pursued and brought to justice. If there are gaps in the Epstein investigation, we will find them. If records have been hidden, we will uncover them. And we will bring everything we find to the DOJ to be fully assessed and transparently disseminated to the American people as it should be. The oath we take is to the law and the Constitution, and under my leadership, the promises will be upheld without compromise. So there's a lot of people on the internet right now that are, giving a lot of backlash to FBI Director Kash Patel and Pam Bondi.
Attorney General
Pam Bondi, excuse me. And one thing people don't understand is that these files and documents have been overseen by a certain Department of Justice, people that want these things covered up. So this is going to take time for this current administration and the current new FBI Director Kash Patel and his team to dig this stuff out. It's already been, people have already been coming out, whistleblowers saying that they've been burning up evidence, hiding hard drives, and doing all this stuff already across different FBI offices across the country. So they do not want this stuff out.
Well,
and
he was talking about cleaning out the bureau, you know? So I'm hoping that's exactly what's gonna take place, you know, and that they keep good on their word. I don't think that something like that can just happen overnight, as far as, you know, uncovering all these documents and everything everybody's been trying to hide. But you know, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? He's been talking like this for a while now, talking about ending corruption, and then he becomes director of the FBI. So I'm hoping that he keeps good on his word. You know, and Trump likes right, exactly. And Trump likes Pam Bondi. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, let's give her a chance.
Be patient. Give them the benefit of the doubt. You know, we're seeing them do a lot of things right now, even arresting corrupt judges in this country. You know, people who are overlookers and overseers of the law and the Constitution of this country being arrested right now. So there is some accountability that we are seeing within our government right now. And, you know, I think we should give the current administration some time to investigate, dig these things out, and have evidence against these people who are involved in the Epstein case. So when the case is brought to a judge, there's no loophole for people to get dismissals. We want convictions.
Right. Justice for the victims.
Right.
Absolutely. All right, guys.
Let us know what you think in the comment section.
In the comments. Hope you guys got some information out of this video. We appreciate you guys for joining us, and we'll see you all in the next video. Peace.